Throughout history, secret religions have risen and fallen, their mysteries fading into the shadows of time. But among them, one stood as a formidable rival to Christianity, an esoteric faith embraced by the Roman Empire's most elite soldiers, high-ranking officials, and influential thinkers. A religion so powerful that it once seemed destined to shape the spiritual foundation of Western civilization, and yet it vanished. Mithraism, an enigmatic cult shrouded in secrecy, its rituals hidden deep within underground temples, its initiates sworn to silence. But why? Why was this once thriving belief system erased from history? Was it merely a casualty of religious evolution, or was its destruction intentional? And more importantly, what if it had survived? Would we be living in a completely different world today? Imagine walking through the bustling streets of ancient Rome. Gladiators prepare for battle, senators debate in grand halls, merchants shout in crowded marketplaces. Yet beneath the city's surface, in dark, candle-lit chambers, something far more mysterious is unfolding. A chosen few gather in hidden sanctuaries known as Mithraea, underground temples carved into rock, where cryptic murals depict a celestial drama, and initiates partake in secretive rituals, believing they are unlocking cosmic wisdom. Mithraism wasn't just a religion. It was an elite brotherhood, a spiritual path that promised enlightenment, strength, and salvation through rigorous trials and sacred knowledge. Its teachings spoke of a divine struggle, a solar god slaying a sacred bull, and a cosmic order encoded in the stars. And for a time, it seemed unstoppable. But then, suddenly it disappeared. Almost overnight, the temples were abandoned, their symbols defaced, their followers erased from history. What happened? How did Mithraism, once a dominant force within the Roman Empire, lose its grip on power? Was it simply outcompeted by Christianity, or was something far more deliberate at play? In this video, we will uncover the hidden origins of Mithraism, explore its mysterious rituals, and reveal its striking similarities to Christianity. We will delve into why the Roman Empire ultimately chose one faith over the other, and how the echoes of Mithraism still linger in modern secret societies and esoteric traditions. By the end, you'll be left with one burning question. What if Mithraism had survived? Would the world we know today be utterly transformed? Stay with me as we unravel the mysteries of a lost religion, one that could have rewritten history. Before Christianity, before the rise of the Roman gods as we know them today, an ancient deity emerged from the East, one that would captivate the hearts and minds of Rome's most powerful warriors and rulers. This god was Mithras, a divine figure shrouded in mystery, a celestial being whose influence stretched across continents and cultures. But who was Mithras? And how did a Persian god become the cornerstone of one of the most enigmatic religious movements in Roman history? To understand the rise of Mithraism, we must journey back thousands of years to the lands of Persia, where the seeds of this secret faith were first sown. Mithras was not originally a Roman deity. His roots can be traced to ancient Persia, where he was revered in Zoroastrianism as a powerful god of light, justice, and cosmic order. In Persian mythology, Mithra, as he was known in the region, was seen as a divine mediator, a protector of truth, and a warrior against the forces of darkness. Unlike many gods of the time, Mithra was not simply an abstract force. He was an active participant in the cosmic struggle between good and evil, a being who stood at the center of a grand celestial battle. One of the most significant aspects of Persian Mithraism was its strong association with the sun. Mithra was believed to carry the power of the sun itself, bringing light to the world and guiding the souls of the righteous toward enlightenment. This solar connection would later become a defining feature of the Roman version of Mithraism, as we'll soon see. But how did this ancient Persian deity find his way into the heart of the Roman Empire? The answer lies in the vast conquests of the ancient world. When Alexander the Great swept across Persia in the 4th century BCE, he didn't just conquer land, he absorbed culture, religion, and philosophy. Greek soldiers, merchants, and scholars encountered the teachings of Mithraism and carried them back to the Mediterranean. Over time, Mithras' story blended with Hellenistic traditions, evolving into a more complex and esoteric belief system. However, Mithraism truly took root in Rome through its military. Roman soldiers stationed in the eastern provinces of the empire encountered Mithraic worship and found it deeply appealing. This was no ordinary religion. It was a path that emphasized strength, discipline, and loyalty, values that resonated deeply with Rome's warrior class. By the 1st century CE, Mithraism had become the faith of the Roman legions. The secretive nature of its rituals and the exclusivity of its membership made it even more attractive. This was not a religion for the masses, it was an elite brotherhood, a spiritual initiation reserved for those deemed worthy. At the heart of Mithraic belief lies a powerful and enigmatic myth, the tale of Mithras, slaying the sacred bull, known as the Tauroctony. According to legend, Mithras was commanded by the god of the cosmos to hunt and kill a divine bull. After a long and arduous battle, he finally slayed the beast inside a cave. But this was no ordinary sacrifice. From the bull's blood, new life emerged, rivers began to flow, plants sprouted, and the world was rejuvenated. This act, known as the sacred killing, symbolized the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. But there was more to this story than just mythology. The slaying of the bull had deep astrological and esoteric meanings. In many ancient belief systems, the bull represented the age of Taurus, a cosmic era that, according to astronomers of the time, was ending. Mithras' act symbolized the transition to a new age, a cosmic renewal. This idea of a divine figure bringing forth a new world through sacrifice would later echo in Christianity, where Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection served a similar symbolic purpose. But unlike Christianity, Mithraism was not a religion of passive faith. It was a warrior's path, one that demanded action, discipline, and secret knowledge. Why did Rome embrace Mithraism? Mithraism's spread across the Roman Empire was not accidental. It fulfilled a spiritual and social need that no other religion of the time could. Unlike Christianity, which sought to convert all people, Mithraism was an initiation-based religion. Only men, primarily soldiers, could join, and they had to prove themselves worthy through rigorous trials. The Roman legions valued discipline above all else. Mithraism reinforced these values, making it an ideal religion for the military. It offered a structured path to enlightenment. Initiates had to pass through 7 levels of spiritual progression, each representing a deeper understanding of the universe and the self. It connected with existing Roman traditions. Rome had long worshipped gods of war, strength, and the sun. Mithras, with his warrior-like qualities and solar associations, fit perfectly into the empire's spiritual landscape. For a time, Mithraism thrived. Its underground temples, called Mithraea, spread across the empire from Britain to Syria. High-ranking officials and even emperors were rumored to be initiates. It seemed as though Mithraism was on the path to becoming Rome's dominant faith. But then, something changed. A new religious movement began to rise, one that offered salvation not just to an elite few, but to everyone. Mithraism's greatest rival had arrived. What happened when Mithraism met Christianity? Why did one faith survive, while the other was erased from history? And were their similarities just coincidency, or was there something deeper at play? In the next section, we'll explore the fascinating battle between Mithraism and Christianity. Two faiths that mirrored each other in ways that are almost too strange to ignore. Stay with me, because what comes next may change everything you thought you knew about the rise of Christianity. Imagine stepping into a hidden chamber beneath the bustling streets of ancient Rome. The air is thick with the scent of burning incense. Flickering torchlight casts eerie shadows on the walls, and a group of robed initiates stand in silent reverence before an altar. In the dim glow, a powerful scene unfolds. Mithras, the divine warrior, slays the sacred bull, while celestial beings watch from above. But what does it all mean? And why did the followers of Mithras keep their rituals so secret? In this section, we'll journey into the underground world of Mithraic temples and decode the mysterious rites that defined this enigmatic religion. Unlike the grand, towering temples dedicated to Jupiter, Mars, or Venus, the places of worship for Mithraism were small, secretive, and hidden from the public eye. These underground temples, known as Mithraea, were designed to resemble caves, dark, enclosed spaces meant to symbolize the cosmic chamber, where Mithras performed his sacred bull-slaying ritual. Mithraea were found all across the Roman Empire, from Britain to Syria, indicating how widespread the faith had become. Each of these temples followed a similar structure, a rectangular chamber, usually long and narrow, mimicking a cave, with stone benches on either side where initiates would sit during ceremonies. A central altar, at the far end of the room, stood a relief or fresco depicting Mithras slaying the bull, a scene known as the Tauroctony. This image was the heart of Mithraic worship, representing cosmic renewal and the triumph of order over chaos. Celestial symbols. The ceilings of Mithraea were often painted with stars, reinforcing Mithraism's deep connection to astrology and the heavens. Many Mithraea were deliberately built beneath existing Roman structures, sometimes even beneath Christian churches, showing that the old faith did not disappear overnight. These underground sanctuaries allowed followers to gather in secrecy, away from the watchful eyes of Roman officials and later, Christian authorities. Mithraism was not an open religion. Unlike Christianity, which welcomed all, Mithraism was reserved for those who could prove themselves worthy. It was a mystery cult, meaning its teachings were secret, revealed only to those who advanced through the ranks of initiation. There were 7 levels of initiation, each representing a different stage of spiritual enlightenment. These ranks were Korax, the Raven N, the first level, symbolizing a messenger between the earthly and the divine. Ravens were believed to carry messages from the gods. Nymphos, the bridegroom, a stage of purification and dedication, where initiates symbolically married the faith. Miles of the soldier here. The initiate became a true follower of Mithras, pledging loyalty much like a soldier to his commander. Leo, the lion, representing strength and courage. Initiates at this level were considered protectors of the faith. Perses, the Persian, a reference to Mithras' Persian origins. This level signified deeper wisdom and understanding of the mysteries. Heliodromus, the Sun Runner, a high-ranking stage associated with the movement of the sun and cosmic knowledge. Paters, the Father, the highest rank, symbolizing mastery of the faith. Only the most dedicated followers reached this level, and they often led the rituals. Each level came with trials, symbolic deaths, and rebirths challenging the initiate both mentally and physically. The process was rigorous, reinforcing the idea that spiritual enlightenment was something to be earned. not simply given. Mithraic ceremonies were deeply symbolic and often mirrored the rituals found in other ancient faiths. The sacred meal, a precursor to the Christian Eucharist. One of the most striking rituals of Mithraism involved a communal meal, where initiates gathered to share bread and wine in honor of Mithras. This meal symbolized unity, spiritual nourishment, and the renewal of life ideas that later appeared in Christianity's Eucharist, where bread and wine represent the body and blood of Christ. Did Christianity borrow this practice from Mithraism? Or were both drawing from a deeper, older tradition? While historians debate the connections, the similarities are impossible to ignore. The blood rituals, a test of faith. Some accounts suggest that initiates underwent symbolic baptisms, using the blood of a sacrificed bull. This rite, called taurobolium, was believed to cleanse the participant and grant spiritual rebirth. However, it remains unclear whether this practice was directly part of Mithraism or a later association with other Roman cults. What is certain is that Mithraic ceremonies emphasized death and rebirth, mirroring the journey of Mithras himself. Astrology and the cosmic order, Mithraism was not just a religion of warriors. It was a faith deeply tied to astrology. The movement of the stars, the cycles of the planets, and the alignment of constellations all played a role in its teachings. Some scholars believe that Mithras, slaying of the bull, represents the end of the age of Taurus, marking a shift in cosmic cycles. Mithras was often depicted as Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, linking him to solar deities and the movement of celestial bodies. For initiates, understanding the cosmic order meant understanding their place in the universe. Every ritual, every symbol in a Mithraeum was designed to remind them that they were part of something far greater than themselves. Why were Mithraic rituals kept secret? Unlike state-sanctioned Roman religions, Mithraism was a mystery religion. Its teachings were hidden, revealed only to those who proved themselves. This secrecy served several purposes: exclusivity and power. Being part of an elite group made membership more desirable. Spiritual growth, knowledge was given gradually, ensuring initiates truly grasped its depth. Protection. As Christianity gained power, many ancient religions were outlawed. Keeping their beliefs hidden allowed Mithraic followers to continue practicing in secret. But secrecy had a cost. When the tides of history changed, the knowledge of Mithraism faded into obscurity. Its followers were scattered, its temples abandoned, and yet echoes of its rituals remained in Christianity, in Freemasonry, and in other esoteric traditions. But what happened when Mithraism and Christianity collided? Why did one faith become the dominant religion of the Roman Empire, while the other was erased? In the next section, we'll explore the intense battle between Mithraism and Christianity, uncovering how these two powerful faiths, so strikingly similar, yet so fundamentally different, competed for the soul of Rome. Stay with me, because the story is far from over. Imagine a time when the mighty Roman Empire was in a state of transformation. Temples that once echoed with the chants of Mithraic initiates were abandoned, their altars covered in dust. The secret rituals of the warrior god, once practiced in underground sanctuaries, faded into obscurity. In their place, a new faith took root, one that preached salvation for all, rather than the chosen few. But how did Christianity succeed where Mithraism failed? Was it simply a matter of numbers? Or was there a deeper struggle, one of ideology, power, and the manipulation of history? In this section, we will explore the dramatic decline of Mithraism and its ultimate replacement by Christianity. The battle between these two religions was more than a competition for followers. It was a clash between secrecy and openness, exclusivity and universality, military strength and spiritual redemption. At first glance, Mithraism and Christianity had striking similarities. Both faiths had a divine saviors and Mithras, viz. Christ celebrated a sacred meal with bread and wine, promised spiritual salvation and an afterlife, had a structured hierarchy with initiations, were closely associated sun and cosmic symbolism. Yet, despite these commonalities, the two religions took vastly different paths. Christianity emphasized inclusion, welcoming slaves, women, and the poor, while Mithraism remained an exclusive, male-dominated cult tied to the military elite. This fundamental difference in approach would prove crucial in determining the fate of each religion. For centuries, Mithraism was closely associated with the Roman military. Soldiers worshipped Mithras as their divine protector, believing he granted them strength, courage, and victory in battle. But as Rome evolved, so did its army. By the 4th century, Rome relied increasingly on non-Roman mercenaries, many of whom were already influenced by Christianity. The rise of Christian soldiers. As more soldiers converted to Christianity, Mithraism lost its stronghold within the army. When emperors began embracing Christianity, the military followed suit, abandoning their old Mithraic traditions. With its support base dwindling, Mithraism found itself fighting an uphill battle against a faith that was growing stronger by the day. The role of Constantine. Christianity becomes the empire's faith. One of the most pivotal moments in religious history came in 300 CE, when Emperor Constantine reportedly had a vision of a cross in the sky. Before his battle at the Milvian Bridge, he took this as a divine sign and, after his victory, converted to Christianity. Constantine's conversion marked the beginning of Christianity's dominance in the Roman Empire. While he did not outlaw Mithraism outright, his favoritism towards Christianity had severe consequences. Official recognition of Christianity at Edict of Milan, 313 CE. This decree granted Christians the right to worship freely, while Mithraism remained a secretive cult with no official backing. State funding for Christian churches. Christian bishops gained wealth and influence, while Mithraic temples were left to decay. Integration of Christianity into Roman law over time. Laws were passed that favored Christian practices and restricted pagan rituals. Mithraism, once an equal competitor, found itself sidelined as Christianity became the empire's preferred religion. By the late 4th century, under Emperor Theodosius I, Christianity was declared the official religion of the Roman Empire. All pagan practices, including Mithraism, were banned. This led to destruction of Mithraeums. Underground Mithraic temples were sealed off, looted, or repurposed as Christian churches. Forcible conversions. Former followers of Mithras were pressured to embrace Christianity or face persecution. Erasure from history. Christian writers often ignored or misrepresented Mithraism, leading to a loss of knowledge about its rituals and beliefs. What was once a thriving religious tradition vanished almost overnight. The few remaining followers of Mithras either assimilated into Christian society or practiced their faith in secret until it completely disappeared. One of the most controversial debates in religious history is whether Christianity adopted elements from Mithraism. Some scholars argue that Christian traditions, such as the celebration of December 25th as Christ's birth, so previously associated with the Mithraic Sol Invictus festival, the ritualistic communal meal, the concept of a divine sation, were influenced by Mithraevier and Salviac practices. Others believe that these similarities were either coincidental or part of a broader ancient religious tradition that both faiths drew from. Regardless of the truth, what remains clear is that Christianity emerged victorious, not just because of its beliefs, but because of its adaptability and political support. Though Mithraism itself faded, its influence can still be seen in various ways. Art and symbolism, many depictions of Mithras bear resemblance to later Christian iconography. Freemasonry and secret societies. Some scholars believe that elements of Mithraic initiation rites influenced later esoteric traditions. Modern esotericism today, some spiritual groups and scholars seek to revive or reinterpret Mithraic teachings. Even in its defeat, Mithraism left a lasting imprint on religious and mystical thought. History is filled with religions that once flourished but eventually disappeared. Mithraism was one of them. It rose as a powerful mystery cult, offering salvation through strength and discipline. It thrived among the Roman elite and soldiers, spreading across the empire. But in the end, it could not withstand the tide of Christianity, a faith that offered a different kind of salvation, one that appealed to the masses rather than the few. Yet the story of Mithraism is not just about decline, it's about transformation. Elements of its rituals, beliefs, and symbols live on, woven into the fabric of religious and spiritual traditions that followed. But what if history had taken a different turn? What if Mithraism, rather than Christianity, had become the dominant faith of the West? As we move into the final section of this exploration, we will consider the alternate paths history could have taken and what the world might have looked like if the ancient sun god had never been eclipsed. Stay with me as we uncover the final mysteries of Mithras. Though Mithraism was suppressed, its mysteries did not entirely disappear. Like embers beneath the ashes, its influence continued to smolder in secret societies, religious symbolism, and philosophical thought. Could it be that echoes of this ancient sun cult still linger in the modern world? As we explore the final chapter of Mithraism's story, we will uncover its subtle yet persistent impact on Western esotericism, spiritual traditions, and even Christianity itself. Mithraism's last stand, the underground survival. By the late 4th century, the once thriving Mithraic temples were abandoned, and its initiates were forced into obscurity. However, historical evidence suggests that the religion did not vanish overnight. Secret gatherings. Some scholars believe that small groups of Mithraic initiates continued to meet in secrecy, practicing their rites away from the eyes of Christian authorities. Integration into other beliefs, rather than disappearing completely. Aspects of Mithraic thought may have merged with other esoteric traditions, particularly within Gnosticism and Neoplatonism. Symbolic resistance. The iconography of Mithras, including his characteristic slaying of the bull, appears sporadically in medieval European art and architecture. These subtle traces hint at an underground survival, where the spiritual core of Mithraism endured even after its formal suppression. Mithraic influence on Christianity. Although Mithraism and Christianity were rivals, they also shared striking similarities. Some scholars argue that Christianity absorbed certain Mithraic traditions, whether consciously or through cultural osmosis. December 25th as a sacred date, the festival of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, closely associated with Mithras, was celebrated on December 25th. This date was later adopted by Christianity as the birth of Christ. Sacred meal of bread and wine. Mithraic rituals involved a communal meal, similar to the Christian Eucharist, symbolizing spiritual unity. Water as a purification rite. Baptism, a key Christian sacrament, has parallels in Mithraic initiation ceremonies, which involved purification by water. Hierarchical structure and degrees of initiation. Christianity developed a structured clergy with distinct ranks, much like Mithraism's 7 levels of initiation. While direct borrowing is debated, the cultural environment in which early Christianity developed was deeply influenced by Roman religious traditions, including Mithraism, Freemasonry, and the echoes of Mithraic rituals. One of the most intriguing theories about Mithraism's survival is its possible connection to Freemasonry and other secret societies. Initiation rites. Both Mithraism and Freemasonry emphasize progressive initiation, where members advance through symbolic ranks. Sacred brotherhood. Like Mithraism, Freemasonry is a male-dominated fraternity that fosters deep bonds among its members. Esoteric symbolism. Masonic rituals involve astronomical and solar motifs, echoing Mithraic sun worship. Although no direct historical link has been proven, the thematic parallels suggest that the legacy of Mithraic mystery traditions may have found new life in later esoteric movements. The astrological and esoteric legacy of Mithraism. Mithraism's strong connection to astrology and cosmic cycles has left an enduring mark on Western esoteric traditions. The zodiac and the age of Taurus. Mithras' slaying of the bull is often interpreted as an allegory for the transition from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries, a concept that resonates with astrological thought. The sun as a symbol of spiritual enlightenment. Many spiritual traditions, including Hermeticism and Rosicrucianism, continue to use the sun as a metaphor for divine wisdom, an idea central to Mithraic worship. The struggle between light and darkness. The battle between light and darkness, present in Mithraic mythology, persists in various religious and mystical traditions. Mithraism's cosmic worldview, centered on celestial order and divine struggle, remains embedded in modern spiritual thought, albeit in transformed ways. Modern revivals. Can Mithraism be reborn? In recent years, there has been renewed interest in Mithraism among scholars, historians, and spiritual seekers. Some individuals and groups have even attempted to reconstruct and revive Mithraic practices. Reconstructionist movements. Some neo-pagan groups seek to revive Mithraic worship, reconstructing rituals based on historical texts and archaeological findings. Academic reassessment. Scholars continue to debate the significance of Mithraism, challenging traditional narratives of its demise. Spiritual exploration. Modern esoteric practitioners explore Mithraic symbols and themes, integrating them into contemporary spiritual frameworks. While a full-fledged revival remains unlikely, the fascination with Mithraism demonstrates its enduring mystique. Mithraism may have been suppressed, but it was never truly forgotten. Its legacy lingers in Christian traditions, Freemasonry, astrology, and Western esotericism. The ancient sun god's mysteries continue to inspire curiosity, reminding us that even when religions fall, their symbols and ideas can transcend time. Perhaps the story of Mithras is not yet over. Perhaps, in some form, his light still shines. Throughout this journey, we have explored the origins, rituals, and downfall of Mithraism. But now, let's ask a fascinating question. What if Mithraism had never disappeared? How different would our world be today? Would Mithraism have evolved into a dominant global religion? Would its warrior ethos and secret initiations have shaped modern spirituality in a way that Christianity did? Perhaps symbols of Mithras, not the cross, would adorn sacred sites. Maybe the solstice festivals and astronomical rites of Mithraism would be the foundations of our holidays. Even though Mithraism as an organized religion faded, its essence never fully vanished. From Christian traditions to Freemasonry, from astrological symbols to secret societies, echoes of Mithras still whisper through the corridors of time. Now, I turn the question to you: if Mithraism had survived, how do you think our world would be different today? Let's discuss in the comments. And if you're fascinated by lost religions and hidden histories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next deep dive into another forgotten mystery. The journey doesn't end. Here, this is just the beginning.